Hello everybody, and welcome back to another episode of HermitPack. How's it going? Is everyone excited for Christmas? 5 more days, at least at the time of this recording. For all I know, you could be watching this after Christmas. Who knows? It's a time of being busy with your family, and yeah. But for me, today, still 5 more days to wait till Christmas. But, I've kind of reached that age where Christmas is about the kids now, It's about my nieces. I don't think I've ever really talked about them before, and I'm not exactly going to go into detail, but, I've got 3 little nieces. They're awesome, and that's what Christmas is about for me right now. I don't care about stuff for myself. I've got plenty. We're not going to necessarily talk about that. Today, we're actually setting up a new expansion to the base, and we're setting up a machine that will help with that new expansion. Now, in last episode, we did the mob farm. I'm pretty sure that was last episode. We need to deal with all of that junk that it's creating. And it's really weird standing next to mechanism machines, and they're quiet. I don't know what's going on, but they're quiet. Like, I've got game sounds on. They're all turned up. But these things are quiet. And I didn't put any muffling upgrades in them, so I don't know. Something changed. Anyway, we're going to have a lot of junk that we need to get rid of. And, we do in general. The bees produce a whole bunch of byproducts. Everything kind of just needs to funnel in. Well, I don't exactly have much space, nor do I necessarily have much egress. Now, shush! You're not even operating and you're making noise. Hey, look at that, it listened. By removing the coal coke furnaces, I did make room for this hallway. I still have not gotten around to decorating the enchanting room. I can't think of anything for it. But that's okay. But other than that, and other than going up floors, which, it's possible. We could easily punch out here and do stuff there, like, double up the floor for Britannia like I did here with the Chisel and Bits room. But at the same time, this is kind of the machine automation floor. And I'm actually thinking this wall right here. Let's actually turn off the one probe there. I actually have found it useful in the past couple of days because I didn't realize it, but if you hold shift, you can see like a whole bunch of like inventory stuff. And it's just, I never knew that. And like, that's so cool to be able to just see what's in things, Oh, look at that, I need to see a pattern. I don't have to open it. I can just look at it. But yeah, I never really used it before. But anyway, this wall, it's kind of chaotic. It really is. I've got the chests and the tank and, the crafting and the import are all visible. And behind it, we have this gigantic pit, because this is a slime chunk that I dug down to bedrock. And I will actually be turning this into a slime farm. But, then just all of this chaos kind of protrudes into it. And this is my sulfur line. We've got cables everywhere. And I kind of want to take the path out that way. Now, this line right here also intersects the slime chunk. And this is the refined storage cable that goes all the way to the mob farm. So that's going to need to get rejigged. this is all going to have to get taken out. This whole wall of machines is going to get taken out. This right here, this is my sulfur production. This is going to get taken out. And it's going to kind of get lined into this new hallway somewhat. Probably more along right here outside the slime chunk. And what will be in the slime chunk is going to be unspawnable, probably glass floor kind of bridge or tunnel, just so that you can kind of look down into the slime chunk and watch it work as you're walking. Some of the machines might end up in this hallway. Things that don't necessarily need interaction on a constant basis. The vats producing my nutrient distillate. I don't use them that often. At least, I load them up with stuff and then just let them go when you produce enough nutrient distillate to last you for a while. So yeah, that's going to be today's project, and then, for part of a future project, we actually need to get steel production in. Previously, I've just been using this guy, the Elite Infusing Factory, and that is really the best method of doing it, because I was actually experimenting with it the other day, and I noticed that Industrial Craft has a blast furnace. And that blast furnace could create steel from just iron. Like, it didn't take a secondary ingredient. Well, unfortunately, that wasn't true. Its secondary ingredient was compressed air. Okay, well, that's not necessarily the end of the world. Compressed air is, it's air. Literally, you stick empty, what are they, the universal cells that mod uses. You stick those in a compressor and voila, you have compressed air. So that's not an issue. It's cheaper than coal, essentially. And, that's saying something, because coal is pretty darn cheap. I believe it's that block, yes. And that's regular blocks. But it takes forever. It is like the slowest process you've ever seen. Oh, my inventory's full. Here, let's put down one of those guys. Apparently we need to put down more than one. There we go. Wait, what? Inventory and its auto rearranging can get very annoying sometimes. Like, you're just a regular factory block. You're not even a item buffer. Go there. So yeah, it just takes way too long. And it's like, I don't want to have to deal with that. Nuh-uh. And immersive engineering, decent, but you need coal coke for that. And not just coal coke dust. And, okay, that wouldn't necessarily be an issue, except for the fact that the only way to make coal coke dust is in immersive engineering's grinder. And it's like, I don't have that stuff set up at the moment, and I don't really feel like setting up an entire huge room worth of stuff just to make steel from immersive engineering, when I can do it from Mechanism, where it has a 4-to-1 ratio, which is definitely an added bonus. 4 steel from 1 piece of coal. And that's because of the enriching chamber. No, that's the crushing. The enriching. You can enrich, and if you didn't know this, you really should. What happened to my wireless terminal? I think I put it in one of these. Yeah, there it is. If you didn't know, you can enrich things. Well, not everything, but like coal, redstone, diamonds, and obsidian. And you get these things. Compressed carbon. See, it's coal or charcoal, which works. And it turns it into compressed carbon. Now, if you were to stick a piece of coal in an enriching or a infusing machine with iron, you will get what is it? Enriched iron. And then you have to do it again to get steel. So you would need 2 pieces of coal to get 1 piece of steel. Whereas if you enrich it first into that compressed carbon, it actually operates for 8 items, which means you can get 4 finished steel dust from just 1 piece of coal. And that, I think, is definitely the best option. There's nothing that can beat that. So we're definitely going to be going with that. I've probably been talking enough. Let's just get to building. I've successfully dug out all the machines. Let's come up with a tunnel design. I need to move this gas line, but I want to wait until this is done. Oh, look at that. It's almost done. Okay. We're going to get that out of the way. That's strange. It only makes a sound when I open its inventory. Yeah, we're going to get that out of the way. And we're going to come up with a tunnel design. Yeah, no, I do need those blocks gone. And we'll see you back. So I'm pretty sure I've settled on a design that I like. And really, it's just based off of the larger room. Except that I've got this kind of off-centered, too wide glass. Because I actually use chisel and bits to make this half glass, half lab block. So you can have a centered glass walkway. And if I turn night vision on, you can see it goes straight down into the slime chunk. And I will, at some point, don't ask when, because I don't know, be building the slime farm down there, and you should be able to watch, the slimes jump off the platform. It's well lit, it's got glowstone all over the place. I've laid out all of the machines that I had previously. So we've got our vats for making our nutrient distillate. These ones actually gain nutrient distillate from that process, as does the mob farm. But that's for this stuff, which is Dew of the Void, which requires these grains of pizzality, I don't know, and grains of the end, and nutrient distillate to make Dew of the Void. And that's useful in the Ender IO teleporter, which I do want to get into someday. Sag mills on top of alloy furnaces, fun stuff there. The painting machine, soul binder, all that's fun stuff. Item repairer, grinder. And, whoop, I did go and wire them all up. Now, the fun part with these guys is actually, I'm really getting into Ender IO's item buffers, and in this case, the Omni buffer, because it provides power as well. And what I'm doing is all of the outputs feed into this one, and then this one imports into the RS system, and it's got the autocrafters all under it, and it's just nice and compact wiring. It doesn't have to be... I mean, I could easily have done item and power cables, but this allows for, well, a buffer. If I'm processing multiple things at once, I mean, if I've got, like, the sawmill going and it's doing a whole bunch of wood and it's outputting a whole bunch, and I just don't want it to get overwhelmed and not be able to do it. So the buffers are good, and you can paint them to look like blocks, just like the conduits, but there's no need for that because you can't see them anyway. We've got the exporter for experience into the soul binder, all that, and I even managed to get it to auto-craft the ender crystal for me, which is pretty cool. The sulfuric acid production has been squeezed under here, rather than that huge long gas line from like over here. It's just over there now. Nice and simple. So that's that. I mean, it ended up being a little bulkier than I would have liked. It takes up much more of the slime chunk, but that's okay. Chances are, as I don't know if I mentioned it before, but I'll probably only start the farm, around here, like Y25 or something like that, and only have 1 or 2 layers to the farm, like spawning platforms, just because I don't really need that many layers. And at the same time, I mean, this goes down to 4. Because of the ability to pick up and move bedrock, I was able to make this nice flat bedrock, and I actually want to get rid of that. So if we grab a moving one, yoink, we can grab it. And then we're actually just going to stick it down there, and haha. Now you can't see it. So, I mean, I could put conveyor belts here, I could put whatever killing method I want, and, I'll get that much more spawning room, even if I only have 2 or 3 platforms down there. So, it's cool. It leads off in this direction. I currently just have glass here, just to kind of signify this is the end of the tunnel that has been made thus far. Whoa! That was a lag spike. Threw me outside the tunnel. Game's trying to... Uh-oh. Sorry about that. The server kind of went all over itself. We found ourselves a mod issue. Go figure, right? I mean, we're playing a mod pack written by goodness knows how many different authors, and mod conflicts? Whatever do you mean? Well, of course, something went wrong, and, well, the server kept crashing, because it takes a couple of tries to really learn what's going wrong. But it wasn't me. Ha! I am innocent. So, we can kind of get back to the project at hand, and that's this thing right here. Our lovely hallway of loveliness, and apparently those machine sounds have come back. Yay, just what we always wanted. So everything we need is right here in this chest. And pretty much I'm making myself a steel mill, because we're going to need a lot of steel for future projects. So, yeah. I mean, I do have my elite infusing factory, and I've got the enricher over there, but that's part of my quintuple ore processing, and it's oftentimes rather busy and not very automated. And the wiring is a little snug down there to make it automated. So I figure, let's just make a new machine. So we're actually going to need one of those, because let's just start with making one setup. And essentially... Oh, I will need you and you as well, just for the initial setup. So what we're going to want to do is place an omni buffer right there. We'll have a power and item conduit right there. Now, on top of that goes the enricher. Yes. On top of that goes the enricher. The right-hand side gets the smelter. The left-hand side gets the infuser. And then we need an item conduit there. We need to not fall down the hole. And we need an item conduit there and there. Now, I really wish I didn't need so many item conduits. If I was using purely Ender IO, this in the middle would be enough. Because Ender IO is awesome like that. And Mechanism, while awesome, is really stuck in this idea of input, output, one item per side, that's it. You know, you can't input and output on the same side. And, yeah. So we're actually going to temporarily knock that out. We're going to need a crafter. We're going to need some filters. Conduit facades. And this actually gives us our temporary blocks that we can do that with so that we can get the crafter right there. Perfect. Get that facing in the right direction. Now, hopefully this will work, that I can set this up to autocraft. We'll see. So, now comes the fun part of all the configuration to make this thing go. So, it will start off with coal and iron being input into there. So we need to extract from there. And actually, let's set that to in and out. Out will be brown. And we want to insert brown here so that this receives the coal. So in order to ensure that this is only reaching coal, let's grab that, stick that in the whitelist item filter. That will now get coal, and it will turn it into the compressed carbon. We can then extract there, insert here, not a problem. And we actually need to configure this. Let's get rid of all of those. And input dark red, output dark blue, auto eject on. Perfect. This one, again, we need to clear them all. The top has to be purple. Input there. Actually, no, that's output. This is input. Input is on the bottom. And then what we do is we say extract here with filter, and that extracts iron? Oh, iron and enriched iron. All right, thank you. And this outputs, right? It outputs on green, which inserts into the Omni buffer again. So the Omni buffer will receive the enriched iron, which as soon as this has room again, will loop back around. If I actually set that to insert. It'll loop back around and turn it into steel dust, which we then need to say insert you with filter for steel dust only, and then that will extract and go into the buffer. Oi. It's a little bit complicated. It's a little bit complicated. And then what we need is we need this guy, the pattern. And I actually forgot a piece. We need an importer. And do I have cable? I do have cable. See, I remembered the cable. I just didn't remember the importer. And we need to stick the importer... Whoa! There! Falling down the hole. The importer right there. It'd be really nice if you could import from a crafter, but you can't. So that's okay. And then we just run this like that, and ta-da, it's part of the system now. And if we stick this recipe in here, it should work automatically. Now, this recipe says 1 coal and 4 iron will output 4 steel, because that's the way it should work. So, if we go to my steel, and actually, let's see if I can take all of it out. There we go. Let's craft 1, and go. Boom, enriching the coal. The iron should be in here. Why is there only 3 ingots? Seriously, why is there only 3 ingots? There should have been 4 ingots. Oh! It's because of this guy, the importer. Oh. It's importing things before it can even finish. I forgot to put the filter of steel ingot. Okay, test fail. That was my bad. Did I get any steel? I don't think I got any steel out of that. We also... probably do it like that. And then... No. Crap, what was that? That was extract, right? Yeah, because it's pulling out the items, and I wanted to configure power, not item, but I was silly. Disable that. Power, just insert. We don't want it to extract. And then that should power all of these. Yes? What's it doing? It's extracting power. Where's the juice going? Yeah, I'm still learning these Omni buffers. Apparently they have to be on like push or pull in order to move power around, and that's just strange. But there we go. Maybe that was the issue and it wasn't needing the transceiver, but we'll leave the transceiver there anyway. We'll let these guys have their own line. All right. So with that, and with no steel in the system, let's do the test again. So it should be 4 steel. So there's 4 iron. Oh darn, it's because it still had the carbon left over from the last test that failed. But whatever, we can still see that it's working. So it should do 4, and those should go over to here. Turn sort on. Hello? Hello? You went in there. Why did you go in there? Insert, filter, blacklist, no steel dust. Of course, now I can't test it because it's not like I can stick it in there, but let's smelt this stuff up. Actually, no, I need that still for filters. Auto eject on. Oh, this thing's not configured at all. Whoops, maybe that would help. Input, output. There we go. Oh, just fails all over the place. Okay, 4 steel ingots. Let's pull that out and actually... Look at this. This thing is coming in handy. The wireless crafting monitor. Yeah, it's still saying that it's processing, so let's cancel that. Of course, that's going to reinstate itself, but that's because it always is. Because that's my sulfur production. It has a crafting upgrade in the export module. Alright, let's try this again. Let's see if it works from the beginning to the end. Let's get rid of that steel dust. And actually, is there any enriched... Yeah, see? Yeah, it definitely broke that first time when I forgot to filter the exporter. Let's do this again. So that should instantly start, because of course there's carbon left over. And that's not an issue, so there's an extra buffer. Loops around, that part works just fine. And now it should go into here. Perfect. That part's working a treat. And if we check the wireless crafting, let's see if it says it's complete. Aha, look at that. It disappears. It says it's complete. And there are 4 steel ingots in there. Perfect. Perfect. So let's put that in there. Put that in there, which will use up a little bit of the carbon. And just get it out of my inventory. And now we can stick all the steel back in the system. And then we just take these conduit facades and we go bloop, bloop, and a steel block, bloop. And then we go close that up. And ta-da! We now have one of the steel mills. Now I do want to build a second one right here, but I can do that off camera. And it's done right behind us. But there's an issue with it. Namely that the system doesn't seem to use it. If I autocraft steel, it always uses this one. If I try and do it like twice, if I do a large order, it just puts it all in this one. It doesn't try and use this one at all. That's actually really disappointing. I mean, I'm looking at this thing, and I mean, there's no settings for, like, priority or hey, share the responsibility. I don't know of any of these upgrades that would do it. I don't know. I seriously don't know. I guess what I could do is create a second layer where essentially, like, I could even put it right here. Except then it wouldn't measure. Yeah, that would be an issue. But, like, I would be able to put, like, another inventory here, put the crafter attached to it so that it, like, outputs all of the bulk ingredients, and then that one outputs it to the 2 arrays for making steel. But, yeah, then the issue would be, well, how does that new buffer know to send 1 coal and 4 iron to each system per operation? That is rather disappointing. I mean, it looks nice to have the 2 machines, and I even made it that, the smelter is in the same spot, even though the machine is flipped. The infuser's there, and so that textures look all mirrored. But only the one of them gets used. And, I mean, okay, I'll use it, I'll make steel with it, but come on. If you guys know how to make both of them work, that'd be good to know. It really would. Because I would really, really like it if it would use both. I know AE2 would do that. If you put the same recipe into 2 different machines, it would split the task. I remember specifically with the alloy smelters, if you're like, I want to make a stack of vibrant alloy, it would put a half a stack in each alloy smelter. And AE2 was smart that way. Well, refined storage doesn't seem to do that. It just goes, this one was built first, so I like it better. It's my favorite child. I don't know. If you know a way to prioritize or make it work with more than one, please tell me, because I don't. But regardless, like I said, I'll use it, and it's a good upgrade. It's nice and clean. It's a lot better than I had. Are you still processing sulfur? Jeepers. Oh yeah, you've got a long way to go. It's nice. It's a new little hallway. It will lead off to future projects, one of which is going to be pretty big, and that'll be a lot of fun. And we'll have to do something with the slime farm. I'm definitely going to have to, like, clean up the walls, because, like, all of this, yeah, it's not good. And this was me just throwing ender air at stone and seeing what it did. And yeah, it turns it into end stone. And that's pretty cool. So yeah. All nice, cleaned up. It works. It works. And that's good. We have ourselves a steel mill. We have ourselves a shiny new hallway with all of the machines down it. It looks a lot better than just that flat little wall with all the machines kind of crammed in there, all tight. All tight. Ah, so tight. So, that will about do it for today. I'm going to be making myself a bunch of steel. And if you guys liked it, leave a like. Give me a like. Click the like button. If you've got any comments, feedback, answers to questions, solutions for this crazy thing, leave me a comment. Let me know. Please. Please let me know. And if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe so that I can see you, whoa, right there, and you can see me in the next episode. Bye-bye.